Knock, knock. Who's there? Gin. Gin who? Gin Rummy. Not as silly as it sounds. Trust me. Gin, one of the world's most popular games, is based on arranging your hand of cards into sets, which are made up of sequences, 3 or more cards of the same suit in consecutive order, or groups, 3 or 4 cards of the same rank. A card can only be part of one sequence or group at a time. It's a game for 2 players. Each is dealt 10 cards. Non-dealer plays first. Take a card from the discard pile, or one from the draw pile. Discards are face up. Draw cards are face down. Just move your cursor over the pile you want and click. Sort your cards. Actually, the computer will do the work for you by clicking on by hand or by rank. Or you can move the cards around to sort them any way you like. Then pick one of your cards to discard. But it has to be a card other than the one you picked if you drew from the discard. The object is to get all of your cards into sets before your opponent does. When you have all or most of your cards in order, you announce it by knocking. Knock, knock. Now you get it. Any unmatched cards left in your hand are called deadwood. In order to knock, your deadwood has to add up to less than 10. If you knock with all of the cards in your hand in sets, you've got gin. Your opponent, or you if it was the other player who knocked first, then has to show all cards, arranging them into sets if possible. This player also gets to lay off any unmatched cards if the knocking player didn't make gin. When you're laying off cards, you can use them to extend the sets the knocker played. Now you tally the score for the hand, based on the value of your deadwood. If the knocker's count is lower, the knocker scores the difference between the 2 counts. But if the other player's deadwood count is lower, they get 25 points plus the difference in points. If you scored gin, you get 25 extra points. Play continues until one player reaches a total score of 100 or higher. Remember, just because you can knock doesn't mean you have to. Might make sense to keep playing, working your cards to a higher score, because that's what your opponent is doing too, and that's gin. Don't worry if you lose a hand or two. There's a tradition goes with learning this one. It's called the School of Hard Knocks. Got some time? That makes one of you. But if you do, you've come to the right place. Put your time where your mouth is and get started on some free parking. Not quite free. What is? No, you gotta pay to play here. Gotta feed the meter. Buy the time to do your stuff. Gotta stay a step ahead of the law. Gotta watch out for the other players, 'cause they're watching out to get you. And if time runs out on you, you could end up with a ticket. And a date in court. Each player gets 5 cards to kick things off. When your space lights up, it's your turn. You can pick 1 card from the deck or swap any 3 cards in your hand. If you draw, you gotta play one or discard one. Just give a left click on the card you want to play. Put it where you want it to go. Click again and you're in biz. Feed the meter cards, pop your time. Errand cards, drop it. Play Officer Jones against another player. Same with time expires. Once you're done drawing, swapping, or playing, you can pull a second chance card if you feel lucky. You got time now, but if you run out, you get a ticket. You can try to lick it. You can bribe the cop or tell it to the judge, or pay the fine if you got the cash. It's up to you and your cards. What's the deal? What's the deal? What am I bid? What am I bid? Who's got a contract? Who wants a contract? Contracts, bids, deals. Sounds like a serious business, but it ain't. It's Spades. It's a card game and it's fun. Spades is played by 4 players who are divided into 2 partnerships. The partnerships make a contract to bid for a certain number of tricks. And just like in the business world, success is measured by how well the contract is played out. The object of Spades is to make contract bids that commit you to taking a certain number of tricks. Each player is dealt 13 cards. Each bids the number of tricks they believe they can take, from 0 to 13. Add up your bid with your partners and you get the number of your contract. You score points by making that contract number. Goal of the game is to be the first partnership to reach 500 points, which could take several hands. The first player can play any card except the spade, unless spades are all that's in the hand. Each other player in turn plays one card, trying to match the suit if possible. If you don't have a card of the suit, play any card. The person who played the highest spade, or the highest card if no spades were played, wins the trick. Play continues until all 13 tricks have been played. Each partnership that makes its contract receives 10 points per trick they bid, and 1 point per trick over the contract. There's another kind of bid called a nil bid. That's when you bid 0 tricks. The player who bids nil must pick 3 cards and pass them to his partner. The partner has to bid before passing 3 cards back to the nil player. If both partners bid nil, no cards get exchanged. If one partner bids nil, the partnership receives points based on the number of tricks the other partner takes. If the nil bidder took no tricks, the partnership gets a 100-point bonus. But if the nil bidder took even 1 trick, there's a 100-point penalty. If both partners bid nil and took no tricks, the bonus is 200. But if they bid nil and take any tricks, there's a 200-point penalty. Feeling brave? Try a double nil bid. Do that by bidding nil without even looking at your cards. Make the contract and your bonus is doubled. Miss it and the penalty doubles too. As you can tell, it's possible to get into negative numbers on this one, but let's think positive. As in, I'm positive you're going to love spades, so I'll leave you to it. Got to get to the home office. A few contract matters of my own to deal with.
Hi. Or low. I lied. The object here is low to high. The game is Raco. You and 1 to 3 other players get a slotted rack into which 10 cards are dealt. You get points for placing the cards in ascending numerical order from lowest to highest. Nothing to it, except, of course, that the deck is shuffled before you play, and the cards are dealt into each rack in random order. Player 1 starts by clicking on either the card from the draw or discard pile. To select a card, click on either the draw or discard pile. The card will then be attached to your cursor. Move the card into the rack position you want. When you click, the highlighted card will be replaced with the card you are holding. The card that was in the rack rejoins the deck. You may well see it again. If you take a card from the discard pile, you must place it in your rack. But if you take a card from the draw stack, you can choose to discard the card. It's up to you, through draws and discards, to arrange your cards into the right ascending order before your opponents do. As soon as you have all 10 arranged, call Raco. You get 5 points for each card, and another 25 for being the first to call Raco, for a total of 75 points. Object of the game is to rack up 500 points over the course of several hands. In some variants of the game, placing cards into consecutive numerical order generates bonus points, assuming you're the one who calls Raco. In this version, once you have all your cards in order, you have the option of continuing play by selecting the Continue button instead of calling Raco. What if you're not the one who calls Raco? You still get 5 points for each card arranged in proper low to high order. Low to high. Got it? Then rack 'em!
Want to see a neat trick? Say no. Now you got the basics of hearts, one of the world's most popular trick-taking card games in which the object is not to take tricks. It's a 4-player game, and the object is to score the fewest points. Take a standard deck with the jokers removed. Only hearts and the queen of spades are worth points. Each heart is worth 1 point. The queen of spades is worth 13. You might say, unlucky 13? Each player gets 13 cards. Each of you selects 3 cards without looking and passes them to the player indicated by the button. The player with the 2 of clubs starts by leading with that card. Each player then selects a card to play, with the highest card of the suit led taking the trick. You must follow the suit led if you can. If not, play any card. Highest card in the suit wins the trick. Winner starts the next trick. You can't lead a trick with a heart unless at least 1 heart has been played. Play continues until all cards are played, then starts over. The game ends when a player ends a hand with more than 100 points. Oh yeah, there's a specialty hand you ought to know about. Shoot the moon. This happens when in one hand, one player takes all 13 hearts and the queen of spades. The player gets, are you ready for this? 0 points. And all other players get stuck with 26 points apiece. Now you know why this simple game has been so popular for so long. You might even say that in the card-playing world, this one is dear to our hearts.
Now look. Rook. There's a sly bird, old as the century, this game. Thought it up in 1906. Been one of the most popular games in the world ever since. Should have asked for a cut of the profits instead of the cards. Got 3 different versions of Rook here, but they've all got some things in common. Rook's a special game, so it's got a special deck. 41 cards. No 1s, 2s, 3s, or 4s. Rook's a bidding game for 4 players. You and your partner up against another pair of players. Each player gets 9 cards. The remaining 5 take a rest in the nest. Start with your bid. What do you bid? Depends on the number of points you feel confident of scoring. Track your points by figuring how many of the counters or count cards you can take. 14s and 10s are worth 10 points. 5s are worth 5. The Rook card is worth 20. 20! Be worth a bunch myself if I'd gotten a cut of this deal. Opening bid for the standard game has to be at least 70. Scroll the arrows to set your bid. Got it? Good. Click Bid to send bidding on to the next player. Too rich for your blood? No sweat. Click Pass to drop out of the bidding. Bidding continues until 3 players pass, or until someone bids 120, which is all the points. High bidder gets to examine the cards in the nest and can exchange cards with it. Just click the nest cards you want, followed by a click on each of the cards you want to swap. When you're done, guess what you click? High bidder gets the trump color for the hand. If that's you, just click the color you want. Now, you play the first card. Everyone else places 1 card on the table in turn. The player who plays the highest card wins all 4 cards. This is called a trick. Slick. To play a card, just click on it and then move the cursor to the table above your cards and click again. The first card played sets the color for the trick. All players must play cards of that color if they can. You don't have a card that color? You can play any card. The trick is won by the player who plays the highest card of the color led, or the highest card of the trump color, if one is played. The Rook bird can be played anytime and always wins the trick. Whoever wins the trick gets to play the first card on the next one. The winner of the last trick gets to keep the nest, and any counters it contains. When a hand is finished, partners total up their counters. If they make their bid, then they score the number of points in their hand. But if you miss your bid, the amount you bid is deducted. Low bidding partners always score the number of points they took. First pair of partners to get 300 points wins. That's the basics. You're gonna like this one so much I've included 3 versions, and I don't have a cut of them either. Go ahead, play yourself some Rook.
Crib notes? Nah, cribbage notes. Notes? I don't need no notes. I'm the king of cribbage. Pay attention. Learn something from the master. Take notes if you wanna. Cribbage is a game for 2 players. You use a standard deck of 52 and keep track of points on a cribbage board. Our board has 2 rows of 120 holes each. Your job is to score points by moving your peg the number of holes that match the points you score in a hand, until you reach the end of the board. Counting the peg hole at the end of the board, that's 121 points. The computer picks one of you to be the dealer. You and your opponent each get a starting deal of 6 cards. The computer will ask you to donate 2 cards of your choice to the crib, which is the dealer's extra hand. Once you've picked your 2 cards to go to the crib, click on the play button to start the game. The computer turns up the top card from the deck to start play. If that starter card is a jack, the dealer pegs 2 points for knobs. Otherwise, that card just waits for the showing round. We'll get to that in a minute. To start the pegging round, the non-dealer picks a card from his hand to play. The value of that card is added to the total, with aces being 1 and face cards counting as 10. The dealer then plays a card which gets added to the total. Play continues until a player can't put down a card without pushing the total over 31. That player has to announce "Go" by clicking the Go button. Then the other player plays as many cards as possible without going over 31. When the total is 31, or neither player can play a card without going over 31, then the total is reset. If a card is played that brings the total to exactly 31, the person who played that card gets 2 points. Each of you can earn points when you play a card during the pegging round. 2 points for bringing the total to 15, 2 points for a pair, 6 points for 3 of a kind, and so on. But you can score a lot more during the showing round. After all cards have been played in the pegging round, everybody's hands are scored, with the non-dealer going first, then the dealer, and finally the crib. Points for both rounds are scored as follows, with the starter card counted as a 5th card in the scoring of all 3 hands. 15, any combination of cards that totals 15, you peg 2. Pairs, peg 2. 3 of a kind, peg 6. 4 of a kind, peg 12. Runs, 3 consecutive cards like 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6, get the picture? Peg 1 point for every card in the run. Flush, 4 cards of the same suit in your hand gets you 4 points. You get a 5th point if the starter card is in the same suit. His knobs. If you have a jack in hand that's the same suit as the starter card, you get to peg 1 in the showing round. After showing, the non-dealer becomes the dealer and you start again. Keep going this way until one of you reaches at least 121. And that's cribbage. Sounds like fun, huh? Thought so. Matter of fact, I'll bet you got it pegged.
Bonjour. Are you ready to race? Then Milbourne is the game for you. It's a racing game for 2 to 4 players, and a lot safer than racing a real car on a real road. But that don't mean it's easy. The object? Win a 1,000-mile, which is what Milbourne means, cross-country auto race by being the first player to accumulate 5,000 points and win it without breaking the law. Players are dealt 7 cards to start. Player 1 goes first. Click on the card to grab it. Move it into your play area or your opponent's. Only areas in which the card can be played will be highlighted. Click again to play the card. The action takes place on the roadways, but the play takes place in these 4 areas: the battle area, the speed area, the safety area, the distance area. The battle area is the hot spot, the starting point for each player's turn. First, you need to play a roll card to get your car moving so you can play distance cards. A few simple rules apply here. 1. You cannot place a distance card without a visible roll card on your battle pile, except if you have a right-of-way safety card in play for your team. 2. Even if you have played a remedy card on a hazard, a roll card must be played on top of the battle pile to play distance cards again. Your roll cards let you pile up the miles toward the goal of 1,000. The distance cards you hold and play determine how far you can go on a turn, but your opponents can play cards against you in the battle area, and those cards can keep you from achieving your goals. Playing these cards against opponents are what makes it a game and a race. Speed limits and stoplights can slow you down. Hazards, flat tires, accidents, and running out of gas can bring you to a halt. Don't worry, the deck includes remedy cards that can help you overcome these hazards. Green remedy cards are played in your team's battle area. And of course, you can play red hazard cards against your opponents in their area, as well as special cards such as Right of Way, which give you the power to play a coup fourré. That's French for counterthrust. If your opponent plays a hazard on you to slow you down, and you have the corresponding remedy safety in your hand, you get an automatic extra 300 points. You can discard unhelpful cards in your hand by clicking to grab them and moving them over to the trash area. Click again to discard. Play continues until a race team wins the race or the deck has been exhausted and no players can play a card. So, these are the basics, and I'm here to help you if you need more information. But for now, why not try the game? Players, start your engine.
One's not the loneliest number. Not lonely at all. Not when I got 52 of my friends here. Same for you. All by yourself with a deck of cards, you can have a lot of fun. Called Solitaire. There's nothing to this one. Yeah, right. That's why so many people play so many games. Here's how you can get started. Cards are shuffled and placed face down. 7 stacks are dealt, with from 1 to 7 cards in each. 1 in the first, 7 in the last. Top card in each stack is face up. Take a look at those face-up cards. The object here is to build runs of cards, descending from highest value to lowest, with cards placed on a run in alternating colors. Red on black, black on red. You get it. See if you can start a run or more with the face-up cards. Move the cards by clicking on them and carrying the card to the spot where you want to place it. Once you've done all you can with the dealt cards, try your hand at the face-down pile. Depending on which version you're playing, clicking on that pile gets you 1 or 3 cards. Go through them and build your runs. When you've done all you can, click the face-down pile again. You'll start building runs pretty quickly, but you'll also start toward the bottom of the face-down pile. So look sharp, don't miss a match. If an empty space opens, that's reserved for a king. When you move the king, all cards already played on the king move too. Same with other partial runs that you move. When you get down to the lowly 2, start filling the top card spots by suit. The object is to uncover all the cards, get them into runs, and move them into the top card slot. And that's all there is to it. Shouldn't take more than one of you to play. In fact, why don't I just leave you alone?